Hey everybody, it's Helen Hillix, your host for From My Heart to Yours. I want to talk today about, do you want to have great sex? Then keep it clean. And that is kind of a pun intended in that I'm not talking about keeping the sex clean. I'm talking about if you want to have great sex, then it's not really about the sex. It's about keeping your relationship clean and clear. So many people come to me and say, my wife doesn't want oral sex and I want to deal with that. Or women come and say, I can't have orgasms and I really want to have an orgasm. Or I want him to give me oral sex, or I want her to give me oral sex, or whatever it is. They think that having great sex is going to come from some kind of a technique, even mental things like I want to be more compassionate so that I can have great sex. Well, that's closer to the mark. That's much closer to the mark than I want to have a better vibrator to have better sex with. So I want to talk about what it means to keep your relationship clear. And I don't care whether you're talking about having great sex with yourself or you're talking about great sex with your partner. If you are feeling a block sexually, it's because there is a block internally somewhere to your connection to yourself, to your connection to each other, to your partner, or your connection with the universe. And those are the places that you need to be looking rather than adding a better sex toy or pornography or a new skill, a new sexual skill. One of my clients came to me saying she wanted to have squirting G-spot orgasms. That was her definition of great sex. But it really turned out that she wants to have more intimacy. And the squirting G-spot orgasm was really just a symbol for that kind of deep intimacy that she's craving. So what do I mean when I say keep it clean? Well, I know in my own marriage that certain times I feel critical of my husband, or I feel irritated by him or he with me. Sometimes I notice that we're bickering about, why didn't you put your cup in the dishwasher? Or, why didn't you make the bed, or whatever it is? Why did you buy that at the grocery store when I asked you for this? So I know that you know what I'm talking about. If you're in a relationship, I know that you can relate to that you notice times when you're bickering about things that you realize would not always be bothering you. This is such a silly one, but it's something that's been a pet peeve of mine, is putting the toilet seat down. Uh, you may just laugh and think that's the stupidest thing in the world, but I notice this, that if I'm having a really close, wonderful connection with my husband and he forgets to put the toilet seat down, that it's like, oh, well, whatever. I don't make a big deal out of it. It doesn't impact me. But if we're not really connected and I'm not feeling loved by him or for him in the same way as I normally do, then that little thing really, really irritates me. So rather than focusing on the thing or the situation or the comment that is irritating you, why not go deeper, guys? Why not remember that it's keeping it clean at a deep connection level that really makes all the difference? Let's say that you notice that you don't want to do oral sex on your husband tonight. That should be a clue to something. Now, maybe you think you don't like oral sex, but I'm in this example, I'm assuming that you do, and that it's something that you mutually enjoy. But then you notice that you don't want to. again, notice the clues. It may be something that you notice in bed is happening that didn't used to happen, that isn't pleasurable now that used to be, or you may feel a block to a certain thing sexually that you didn't used to feel. That's a clue. You may notice you're irritated about how he snorts or farts or whatever it is. That's a clue. You may notice that you're bickering about how to spend money or who should pick up the kids. That's a clue. Don't be sidetracked by the behavior itself, but look at where did it start? When did you notice that you started being irritated with him or her? When did you notice that the first time? And it may go back way farther than you think originally, or it may be something quite recent. But notice that you feel a rift in your connection, whether it's in the bedroom or the bathroom or the kitchen or all through the house. Notice that you're feeling that energy of separation and ask yourself why. Is it something within me that I need to shift, or is it something between us? And I'm going to talk about some habits that you can get into. I mean, that's the first one, is the intention to always clear up any disconnection between you and your partner. That is a powerful, powerful intention. Don't let it ride. Don't let it just, people say to me all the time, oh, I just let that go. But no, they did not let it go. It's simmering under the surface. So realize that things don't just go away by themselves. And the saying, time heals all things, that's just baloney. Time does not heal all things. Time may seduce you into believing that you're over something that you're not over, but time does not heal all things. So the first step is to notice when you are feeling off with your partner. You have to notice first, right? Well, I guess the first step is always the same in all of my tools. Is the first step is intending to always clean up your separation feelings. That's the first step. The second step is noticing when they're happening. And you may not notice it right at the moment, but you may notice it, an hour later or a day later or a week later, whatever it is. It doesn't matter how much later it is either. That's another thing my clients say to me all the time is, but I didn't say anything in the moment. It's too late now. No, it's not. It's never too late. I don't care if something happened 20 years ago. If you say, you know what, I realize I'm still holding on to the fact that you bought me a cheap ring 20 years ago rather than investing in something more expensive to show me how much you love me. And I realize I'm holding on to a resentment from that. I don't care if it's 20 years ago or if it's 20 minutes ago. It's never too late to clean it up. So when you notice that there is a rift, consciously take the time to go back and see if you can remember when that rift started. And then the third step, of course, is bringing it to your partner. And some people have kind of a habit of doing a daily inventory together. They clear up things every single night. That's fabulous. Other couples have a meeting. I used to do this with my ex-husband. We would have a meeting every Friday night for 30 minutes or something, and we would go over any irritations or upsets or angry moments or hurt moments that we had during that week. So, to me, it's the more frequent, the better. But however it works for you two, whatever the two of you are willing to agree on, do that. Make it a scheduled thing. Make it a ritual that you do. And, I offer lots of different rituals of safe touch and healing the past and sacred sexuality rituals and all kinds of them. But this is such a powerful sacred sexuality ritual in itself. And that is to keep your relationship clean. And that's a tool that you can define any way you want to in terms of frequency or types of things that get to be cleared up. But the more frequently you do it, and the more expansive your definition of what needs to be cleaned up is, the better your sex life is going to be. And I don't want you to take my word for it, guys. I really don't. I really would love to hear from you after you listen to this podcast or watch this video. I would love to hear from you about how it worked for you when you applied what I'm teaching you right now. And when you go to talk about the irritation, here's another piece of it. Number 4 is always talk about what you're noticing about yourself. I noticed that I didn't want to have oral sex with you last night. I noticed that I felt a reaction when you did X. I noticed that we've been bickering, over the last couple of days. Always put it in the context of I'm noticing this, rather than you did X and you did Y and you did Z. Always put it in the context of this is what I'm noticing, because that way it's brought to the relationship in terms of a rift that you want to heal. It's not about blaming anybody, is it? You get to be willing to be accountable for your part, and you get to support your partner to be willing to be accountable for their part. But your intention is to heal the rift so that you can be close again, for the purpose of being close or the purpose of having better sex or whatever your intention is. You get to come with the intention of healing the rift. So many couples think, oh, well, I talked to him about it. I told him he was being an asshole. That's not what I'm talking about, is it? I'm talking about bringing the intention to heal the rift, and being conscious of how you say it is a very important part of this tool. Very important part of it, because otherwise you can think that you're bringing the intention to heal the rift, but you're actually blaming the other person or intensifying your anger and justifying your anger, whatever it is. So bring the intention of actually healing the rift. Now the next piece of it is be willing to listen, be willing to be honest with yourself, be willing to be vulnerable. Look at yourself, look at your own part, because you can bring the intention, but if you're not willing to look at your own part and really listen, then whatever your partner says is going to make you defensive. So it's not about blaming them, and it's not about defending yourself. It's about the intention to keep it clean between the two of you. So if you can do this and develop it as a habit, it is going to change your relationship, I promise you. And I've already done podcasts about making amends and about doing redos. And oftentimes when you do keep it clean, when you have a clearing conversation about something that's going on between the two of you, that will often lead you to doing a redo or to making amends. And you can look up those podcasts from previous weeks. But for right now, what we're talking about is making the intention, holding the intention and holding the space, making a schedule for yourself of a time to keep it clean between the two of you. And I want to, this is a very brief podcast, and that's okay, because this is all I have to say about it is, keep that strong intention to keep it clean, and you will have better sex. And if you can remember that as kind of a joke, if you want to have great sex, keep it clean. If you can remember that, it'll make you smile, and it'll help you to remember to notice when something is blocking your connection with your partner or with yourself, and to go back in and explore what that block is and clear it up with all the other tools that you have. Because you are never going to have great sex if there are things blocking you. So make it a habit. That's really the message today, is make it a habit. Give yourselves the gift in 2020 of making a habit of keeping things cleaned up between you and your partner. And it becomes fun. It becomes something you look forward to because it feels so damn good afterwards. It feels so good to have things cleaned up again and to have that connection reestablished and re-strengthened. And you know what? Every time you do this, every time you clean up whatever is blocking you from your partner, your relationship is strengthened and you get more and more relaxation and more feeling of safety and security, because you are establishing over and over and over again your ability to clean it up. And when you have that tool in your repertoire of being able to clean it up, then you can relax and you can feel safe, because no matter what happens, you two know how to handle it. You two know how to clean it up. And so with the addition of this tool to your repertoire of relationship tools, you can relax and enjoy your relationship even more every time you have some kind of conflict, because you also have the experience of cleaning it up. So if you want to have great sex, keep it clean. I love you. I will talk to you next week, and I'd love to hear from you about how this tool works for you. Bye for now.